Earlier today, Brett Okamoto was doing an interview with Francis Ngannou on his Instagram Live. Dana White popped in and gave us an update on the status of UFC 249. He says that he's trying to build the baddest card that has ever been done for April 18th.
What do you got on the wall? You got a location for 249 you want to see? You want to show us?
That's enough. We don't our people who do the boards aren't here, so we're doing it without.
Wow, you got board people?
Card with people who can still maneuver and people who can get in. We're trying to build the baddest card that's ever been done in the history of the sport.
For when?
April. What do you mean for when?
So
Aren't
what you
reporters at ESPN? You don't know.
I've been stuck at home, man. I've been watching movies. I haven't been looking at fight cards.
Get your shit together. Get your shit. Start promoting this fight on April 18th.
Wait a second though. You're redoing the card. You're going to do a badass card and not the original card. Am I understanding you correctly?
Some of the things are going to work out, and some of the things might not work out. So we're trying to figure out if they don't, what do we do?
Well, I told Francis Ngannou I was going to have him on live. Do you got any news for Francis? Should I let him know? Should I let him know when he's fighting?
See, Francis is one of the guys we're looking at too. So yes.
On April 18th.
Yes.
Rosenstrike still?
Yes. All right.
Well, hey, man, I love it. Hijack my chats anytime, Dana.
Get your shit together and start promoting this fight.
Colby Covington, in a recent interview, apologizes to Dustin Poirier. He says that Dustin is his teammate and he kind of lost his cool. Speaking to Submission Radio, he went on to say, "I want to take this moment, guys, to apologize real quick. I want to apologize to my teammate, Dustin Poirier. I broke a promise to my agent, Dan Lambert, and I really do feel bad, and I feel ashamed. Yesterday, I was asked a question by Ariel Helwani about Dustin, my teammate, and I kind of lost my cool. I was too busy spitting fire on the world. I was so hyped up about the Woodley fight that I kind of went off on Dustin. I just want to say that I'm sorry, Dustin. You're still my friend. We can be friends. I'm sorry about hurting your feelings and saying some words in the past that may have hurt your feelings. And you know, business goes back to usual at American Top Team. I want to have a civil gym, and I don't want there to be drama or beef in the gym. I want to keep things civil. And if any of these guys want to come fight me, anybody out there, you know where to find me. We can fight for a lot of money in the octagon. But why aren't these guys talking about fighting me in the octagon? They keep talking about fighting me in the street. Yeah, I never apologize, and I can't believe I'm doing it here today with you guys. But you know, that's how much trust I have in you guys and faith in you guys. And what made me want to apologize is, I'm really apologizing to Dan Lambert. I broke a promise. We made a promise that he's in a different weight class. He's a lightweight. I'm a welterweight. Our business and our paths are not going to cross, so there's no reason to talk about each other. Let's just keep everything normal at the gym, and guys can interact and train, and they can hate each other, but we have enough space in the gym to where there shouldn't be any problems. Let's just handle our business. And I broke that promise with Dan. I told him I wasn't going to talk about Dustin. He's not going to talk about me, and I'm ashamed. I'm usually not like this, but you know, I'm a man to admit when I'm wrong, and I'm wrong. I made a mistake. I'm just like every other American out there. We make mistakes, and the most important thing is that we learn from our mistakes. And I've learned from my mistake, and I'm going to be better. I'm sorry, Dan Lambert. I'm sorry, Dustin. Love you guys, American Top Team forever. I'd like to sit down with him and have a little chat. Speak to him eye to eye, you know, get a gauge and feel for how he's feeling and thinking, and let him get some things off his chest. Then rebuttal and tell him the truth and let me get some things off my chest. What I believe. We're both stubborn in our own ways, and we're hard-headed, and we're both fighters, and we love to fight. So let's just worry about fighting and preparing for our fights. He has a big fight coming up with somebody, and I'm worried about getting my rematch and getting my belt back. So let's just go our separate ways and let bygones be bygones. Johnny Walker finally reacts to his loss to Nikita Krylov. On his Instagram, he posted this. In the caption, he wrote, "I've been thinking and reflecting since Saturday night. I learned a lot. I feel proud that I went 3 rounds against a great fighter, but it revealed the holes in my game. For this, I'm thankful because it showed me what I need to work on. So back to the drawing board. My dream is still the same. I'm still focused. I didn't win, but I learned." Ray Longo on the Anik And Florian Podcast speaks on Jorge Masvidal's reaction to Kevin Lee's loss. He said that he agrees with Jorge Masvidal. He says that you can't talk shit and not come close to backing it up.
Yeah, look, I understand where Masvidal's coming from, because it's a complete, I guess dichotomy is the word. Gamebred is a real dude. You know, he shoots from the hip, and the other guy is just cognitive dissonance at its fullest. I mean, he just doesn't get it, this guy. I've been saying this for years about him. You know, he thinks he beat Al. I mean, he's everything in his head doesn't match up with reality. You know what I mean? Even listening to him talk after this was gut-wrenching to me. And Gamebred's right, man. I mean, you can't. Here's the problem, guys. You can't talk shit and then not come close to backing it up. You're going to catch heat for it. All the guys that didn't want to fight him and all, it's all craziness. You know what I mean? And now you miss weight. Again, you tap out, then you look at the ref like,
yeah,
what are you doing? I mean, that's who he is. That octagon reveals who you are, and that is about as close to who he is as possible.
Matt Serra on UFC Unfiltered speaks on Charles Oliveira's guillotine choke submission over Kevin Lee. He explains why he gives Kevin Lee a pass for being upset after the fight.
I'll tell you right now, I give him a total pass on that. Look at his face after they stopped that. I feel Charles Oliveira is so precise with his submissions. In other words, when he has a choke on, a strangle, you're going to be going to sleep. You're not going to be going, oh, I can't get out. So what happened was, his guillotines are sick, and they go on very tight. So when he had that on him, I feel that he was literally a second or two away from just going to sleep. And then I think he was coming to, and he's like, I'm fighting. But I give Kevin Lee a pass on that.
Sure.
I thought Kevin Lee was fighting excellent. He was getting out of, this is what was going on. Charles Oliveira throws machine gun attacks. He chains together his subs. Bing, 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 bing. You're escaping a leg lock, you get into a calf slice. But Lee was doing a fantastic job of getting out of all the stuff he was getting thrown at and landing some good. At the end of that round, he landed a few good shots on top. So after that first round, I'm like, in the second round, Charles start to get a little slower with his attacks. So I'm like, this is fantastic. He's going to be weathering this. Right. And now he's even feeling confident putting the fight to the floor. And I think that's what effed him.
Yeah.
See the way I clean it up.
And Michael Bisping on the Believe You Me podcast speaks on Kevin Lee's loss to Charles Oliveira. He says that he's doing the right thing to step away from the sport.
I got to say, it's probably not a bad idea. I think he's only in his 20s still. I think he's in his 28, something like that. So he's still got a long time. Kevin Lee is very good. Kevin Lee is he's got balls. He will stand in the pocket. He will come forward. He will trade. He's got good striking. He's got excellent wrestling. He's got good jiu-jitsu. Remember, first round against Tony Ferguson. Right, fantastic athlete. Remember the first round against Tony Ferguson? He had him mounted, raining down blows. Yeah. Almost got the fucking finish. Kevin Lee is a monster, okay? But he is having difficulty. He's struggling to put it all together. Maybe it's a mental thing that he's got. I don't necessarily see too many technical flaws, but, he does need to step back a little bit because right now he's perilously close to being cut from the organization and going down a path which a lot of fighters can't recover from. So I think it's the smart move. Take 2 years away. Hopefully he's earned a bit of money, so he's got the financial freedom to do so, right? Take 2 years away. Work with people like Faraz Zahabi up at TriStar, one of the best strategists in the sport, right? Work on the mental side of things. Give it some time. Come back a better athlete, not only physical, but mainly mentally, a little bit more mature. Learn from your losses, learn from your mistakes, learn from the mental defects that he's had. Talking about game plan and dealing with those psychological demons. So I think that's a great idea. Disappear from the sport in terms of being in the limelight. I'm not talking about being in the gym and still working on things and then come back. Kevin Lee 2.0 in 18 months, 2 years. I think that's a great idea. He beat Edson Barboza as well. Lost to Dos Anjos, lost to Quinton, lost to Tony Ferguson, lost to Charles Oliveira. These are top of the food chain guys, right? Top of the food chain guys, no shame in losing to them, right? And I was always of the, I am still of the belief, the more time you spend in training camp, the better you get. And for the most part, I'd never lost more than one in a row, and I was winning most of my fights. So it was a different circumstance. But in this situation, I think he's doing the right thing. Take some time away from the sport, regroup, step away from the sport for a little bit, you know what I mean? Just forget about mixed martial arts and fighting. It's incredibly stressful. It consumes your mind all the time. Step away from that. Forget about it. Regroup. He hasn't got family or kids, I don't think. Maybe not now with the coronavirus, but I'm going to say go travel. Go fucking do Southeast Asia for 6 months. Just fucking forget about it and then come back.
That's going to wrap it up for the news. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like down below and subscribe to Full Mount MMA on YouTube. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one's from Youngblood and it says Colby needs his jaw broke again. The second one says Romero could literally say the same thing Izzy is saying at the end of the day, regardless, the reason you both didn't fight. And the final one's from Richard M and it says Izzy said he couldn't let his team down, so he kept running. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next video, be sure to drop a comment down below on this one.